we've all seen it 1,000 different times. How many different high-level games with Super Grandmasters have you seen that begin with the Ruy Lopez and immediately becomes a Berlin, in particular, the world's most boring opening of all time, the Berlin endgame? You see this time and time again where one player has the white pieces. They've all decided, hey, this is the best way to play chess. You get a slight advantage with white. You get a risk-free position, and you can try to grind for hours and hours and have a blast here. Well, okay. What are we doing here, though? Wait a minute. This is my channel. This is my chess channel where I go over aggressive openings. We invent brand new gambits. And that's the kind of stuff we do. So why am I on about the Berlin endgame? Well, I am going to actually attempt. I set a small challenge for myself today to take the position that occurs after pawn to d4 and see if I could invent a brand new hyper-aggressive way of playing this opening so that we can turn the world's most boring opening into something that would actually be enjoyable to watch. And then what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take this brand new gambit and I'm going to sack a piece and see if I can beat Stockfish with it. I've done it before, but honestly, this one I've probably done about 15 minutes of prep for, so we'll see how it goes. But anyways, after knight to d6, I'm going to propose, I'm going to be trying to test out a brand new gambit, not bishop takes c6. This is dreadfully awful. I'm going to play d takes e5. And I actually know what you might be saying. You're saying, hey, wait, Jonathan, this is actually even more boring than the Berlin endgame, isn't it? I mean, yeah, you feel quite clever as white. Obviously, you play a4. Look at that. The knight is trapped. But then the knight goes to the middle. You swap the knights. Black plays d5. You take. Queen takes d5. And 94% of the games end in a draw from here. This is literally the most boring and awful thing that you would ever have to watch in chess. So what am I on about? Where is this gambit coming in? Let's reverse. Let's go right back to the position after pawn to d4. Where after knight d6, I am going to be playing d takes c5 against the computer. But after knight takes b5, instead of a4, and instead of anything that's ever been played or ever suggested by a computer, I have a revolutionary approach. So let me jump right on here and play Stockfish 12 at level 8. I will take the white pieces and we'll see what we can do. So here is my new idea. Again, not pawn to a4. Not even worried about the knight. I am going to be playing rook to e1, supporting this center pawn, sacrificing an entire piece. And my idea here is that I'm going to play pawn to c4, kicking this knight back to a really horrible square. And I'm going to play for an immediate attack. I am hoping that since this knight is over here on a7 rather than like f6, for example, potentially I can immediately start targeting the king side, hoping to create some weaknesses. So knight g5, queen h5, obviously I'm on here, and this actually forces the pawn to go to g6. I'm going to drop my queen back. And one way that you can potentially, as a human, actually defeat a computer is if you have some sort of long-term horizon effect in which the computer doesn't realize just how much potential there is for white to get a large attack here on the dark squares. And that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping long-term white-black just doesn't understand how powerful this is. So obviously, for example, I'm definitely not worried about my knight ever being captured. This will just let me into the dark squares here. I would be totally comfortable with that. But I am actually going to be playing knight to e4 in this position and seeing what we can do, seeing if we can get some attack. Now, the number one thing I would like to do is get this guy off the board. And probably number two, I want to open the H file. So I'm actually going to play a fantastic move here. Boom! Bishop to g5. This is my idea. I am opening the H file if you do decide to take my bishop. Now I'm hopping in here. I'm down 2 pieces at the moment, but I am kind of banking on the fact that there will be some danger, potentially if I can sneak my queen all the way to g7. This would be checkmate. So let's make sure we do this a little bit carefully here. Okay, bishop to e6. Here I am. I'm going to play knight to f4, attacking the g6 pawn. And then I guess I'm going to make use of these rooks. So I'm going to plop this guy in here. And potentially I have some ideas of eventually swinging a rook all the way over. So this is interesting. The bishop is from a distance, keeping an eye on g6. I will play my last rook into the game, and this is the guy that potentially will swing over. So here, another key part of this position, though, is that I really want to I want to keep this pawn on f6 for as long as possible. So I'm going to put my knight here. So if there's a capture, I can potentially take back with a knight. I really like this pawn. This pawn is such a hero. So here we go. Rook to e3 with the idea that we are swinging over. And we're just kind of holding everything together here. So the knights are really attacking me. And yeah, I think I'm swinging all the way over. Maybe you could play something like knight to f4 as well. But basically, my attacking plans have to do with either knight to f4 or even rook to h6. And hopefully this will lead to some very dangerous attacking possibilities. It feels really dangerous for black. Okay. Okay. Hey, okay. Actually, I have some insider information here. I'm actually so happy that this happened. I'm actually not 100% familiar with this exact position, but there's an idea here. The one idea that I kind of prepped. I think I get to be a hero here as white. So I'm on the verge of doing something really fantastic. Let me just double check. Yeah. Okay. So I am going to play a move, and this was inspired by a computer in practice. Rook to e3. Rook to e3. I have no interest in grabbing your queen. I have an interest. And also, you obviously can't go here because, somehow I'll be checkmating you. So computer plays b6. Kind of an indication that nothing's really going on, is it? What is b6? Okay, I think the computer is it's at a loss here. So knight to f4. Let's see if we can capture some stuff. Bishop to h5. Okay. Black is in horrible, horrible shape here. I just want to be a little bit accurate with my moves. I think even rook takes will be good. I want to always preserve the idea that if this knight moves away, I'll be tossing this check in and then delivering a mate. b5, kind of like nothing is happening. And I don't know. Maybe the idea is I should just make this knight move away at some point. Trying to see if there's anything clever. This is about to be a masterpiece. We're getting a phone call from the wife. It's about to be a masterpiece here, so let's hope that we can just finish this one up. I'm going to play g4. Okay, so the queen has been sacrificed. And maybe this is just going to be clean from here. Knight to e5. So how exactly do we do this one? We're on this knight, but the opponent is threatening knight to f3, so I could potentially bring my king up. I'm just looking around, seeing if there's any potential knight checks. There's also rook to h3, which might just be simple enough. Oh, let's hope that we're not blundering anything. Let's try this one. Well, actually, maybe don't want to do this because then then we can always go back. Let's just play rook to h3. I'm assuming this is fine. Okay. Oh, so he's running away. So I'm just winning material here. I'm sure there was a clever, much more brilliant and aesthetically pleasing way to win. So in a way, I regret not being fully prepared for this battle. But in the end, we will get there. All right, let's just see. I want to make it a masterpiece, but I don't know. We're just going to start taking stuff and getting to the finish line here. Could be interesting to cut off the king from running away. So the king is he's just attempting to skedaddle. I think I actually will cut him off. See if we can prevent the king from coming up and then trying to promote. Can go either way, take or not take. I'm going to take. I guess this pawn is going to move. Can potentially, for a moment, prevent things. I can also just queen. And, yeah, we're plus 18. Okay, but we don't want to lose the viewers here. They came for a good show. Let's see if we can come up with a more clever way of winning this. Let's speed it up here. Let's just take away these squares. Try to bring the other queen in, potentially. And finally finish this one up here. I really want this pawn here. Oh, no, I've let a rook check into the position. All right, knight takes. Yeah, I don't know. Is this an opening that you guys would play? It feels very, very dubious, obviously. But at least if people did play this opening, you would be able to watch Berlin. So I kind of apologize for the, I don't know, general lack of energy today. But yeah, hopefully some people do enjoy it. If you do like these kinds of openings, I get to finish plus 25. That's pretty cool. I'm 2 queens up, a knight up, a bunch of pawns up. That actually was a pretty cool way of finishing. We can real quick actually see this from Stockfish's point of view. This is the new idea, rook to e1. And here's how the game continued. So a6, and again, kind of the main idea. So the starting was all sort of prep. All throughout here was kind of the prep. And you can see it's about -3.5. But yeah, I don't have much more commentary to add other than what you're really attempting to do is playing for some long-term compensation. And around here, it looks very scary. So I think in a position like this, if you're a human being, it looks incredibly scary because you see this pawn on f6. You know that there's not a dark squared bishop. Stockfish, not particularly impressed. Is it around here that something went a little off? Or maybe it's just recalibrating and eventually coming around to this idea. But yeah, you can see even the computer is very confused about what we just watched. Was it here? It doesn't like this move, or maybe, yeah, if you give it more time, all of a sudden, I don't know, maybe it's rethinking a lot of its decisions, which is kind of cool. And it's really all I'm trying to do is get one of these long-term attacks. Was this right? Oh, maybe this isn't even right, but it's definitely the coolest way to continue. So I'm not actually 100% sure when I ran out of theory, but let's see. You know, now we're winning. Whatever. We all saw it. It was boring. We got there in the end. It doesn't matter how we got there. Anyways, I hope you guys do like that if you made it all the way to the end. Yeah, thanks a lot.